Imagine watching the people responsible for destroying someone's life walk out of court smiling. That is exactly what happens at the beginning of this story. Outside a courthouse, three teenage bullies celebrate their victory. They pose for selfies, flash peace signs, and upload the photos online with mocking captions. To them, the trial is nothing more than a joke. But the truth behind the case is horrifying. Their victim was a girl named Yeji. For months, she suffered relentless bullying and humiliation. Among the many cruel acts inflicted upon her, one of the worst occurred when the group pinned her down and force-fed her a bun filled with live insects while laughing at her terror. Despite the brutality of the abuse, the court dismisses everything as a childish prank gone too far. The judge claims the teenagers have bright futures ahead of them and sentences them to only 200 hours of community service. While the bullies celebrate their freedom, someone else watches in silence. The protagonist. To him, the verdict isn't justice, it's betrayal. Unable to accept the court's decision, the protagonist throws himself into training. Inside a boxing gym, he spends countless hours punishing a heavy bag. Every strike is fueled by anger. Every punch is driven by memories of Yeji's suffering. Their two judge's words replay endlessly inside his head. They have bright futures. They're still young. They deserve another chance. The more he thinks about it, the angrier he becomes. Finally, his rage explodes. One devastating punch tears the heavy bag completely off its chain. As it crashes onto the floor, the protagonist realizes something important. Those bullies were never sorry, and they never would be. That night, he returns home. For a brief moment, he imagines hearing Yeji's voice welcoming him back, but the illusion quickly fades. The house is silent. The memories are painful, and the truth remains unchanged. Yeji is gone. The bullying ultimately pushed her toward death. Standing in front of an old photograph, grief begins transforming into something much darker. Revenge. His room reveals just how far he has already gone. Maps cover the walls. Schedules are pinned to boards. Photographs, newspaper articles, and investigation notes fill every corner. For months, the protagonist has been secretly tracking the people responsible. At the center of everything is one photograph. Kim Jae-sung, the ringleader. The face he hates most. Looking at the board, the protagonist reaches a conclusion. If the law refuses to punish them, then he will. The hunt begins. His first target is Jo Hyun-tae, one of the bullies who regularly assaulted Yeji. One night, Hyun-tae wakes up tied to a chair inside an abandoned construction site. Fear immediately fills his eyes. The protagonist stands before him without sympathy. Without hesitation, he begins his interrogation, but this isn't really an interrogation anymore. The protagonist already knows what happened. He already knows who is responsible. What he wants now isn't information, it's suffering. Every scream from Hyun-tae reminds him of Yeji's cries for help. Every plea for mercy reminds him of how nobody showed mercy to her. As the hours pass, the protagonist pushes further and further into darkness. The line between justice and revenge disappears. Eventually, Hyun-tae completely breaks down. He cries. He apologizes. He begs for forgiveness. But the protagonist isn't interested in apologies. Yeji cried too. Yeji begged too. Nobody listened. Now, the roles have been reversed. Looking down at the broken bully, the protagonist speaks about karma, the belief that every action eventually returns to the person who created it. According to him, this isn't cruelty. This is consequence. This is karma, collecting its debt. After dealing with Hyun-tae, the protagonist turns his attention toward the remaining targets, Jung Raul Shin, Ju-young, and above all else, Tin Jae-sung. For months he has studied their lives, where they go, who they meet, what they do, and everything is prepared. The revenge he has spent. Months planning is finally within reach. Then everything changes. When he orders Hyun-tae to call the others, the terrified bully reveals shocking news. The remaining 3 bullies are already dead. At first, the protagonist refuses to believe it, but a news report confirms everything. The day before, the group stole a luxury car. While driving drunk at high speed, they entered the wrong side of a highway and crashed head-on into a trailer. Impact killed everyone instantly. Kim Jae-sung is dead. Jung Raul is dead. Shin Ju-young is dead. The people the protagonist dedicated his life to, hunting, are gone. For a long moment, he simply stands there, frozen. Everything he worked toward has vanished. Months of preparation, months of hatred, months of obsession. Gone. The revenge that kept him alive has been stolen by fate. He collapses under the weight of the realization, not because the bullies are dead, but because their deaths bring him no peace, no satisfaction, no closure. Yeji is still gone. Nothing has changed. As despair consumes him, a strange thought enters his mind. If the bullies are dead, then where are they now? Hell? If they're in hell, then perhaps revenge is still possible. The idea slowly consumes him. A new purpose is born. After killing the final surviving bully, the protagonist walks toward the edge of the unfinished building. The city stretches beneath him. The wind roars around him. For the first time in a long time, he feels calm. Then he takes one final step and falls. Darkness swallows everything. For what feels like an eternity, there is only silence. Then a voice echoes through the void. Arise. His eyes snap open. But he is no longer in the world of the living. He finds himself inside an enormous crimson palace. Towering, pillars rise endlessly into darkness. Ancient, symbols glow along the walls, and at the top of a massive staircase sits an overwhelming figure, a ruler, a judge, a king. The being introduces himself, King Yama, the great king of hell, the supreme ruler of the underworld. Shock floods the protagonist's mind. His impossible gamble worked. Hell is real, and so are the souls of the people he hates. Even more surprising,